Hello, you say goodbye and I say hello, hello. Hi guys and welcome to a new Boy Reads World video. Today I'm doing my August wrap up. Oh my gosh, can't believe it's September already. It's been a weird reading month. I only read 4 books, which means that this will be a relatively short video, so yay for that and let's get to it. Like I said, it's really been a weird month because I read like 1 book in the first 2 weeks of August and then I read 3 books in 48 hours time, so it was a weird month. A good month, filled with barbecues and parties, but reading wise, not so much. Anyway, the first book that I read was Black Deutschland by Darryl Pinckney. I already mentioned this in my July wrap up because I was reading it at the time. And yeah, I finished it in August, and I have to say this was not exactly the book that I was expecting, because on the blurb it is compared to Christopher Isherwood's novels, who also take place in Berlin sometimes. And Darryl Pinckney has obviously read Christopher Isherwood's novels because he references it quite often in this novel. This is about a gay black man in the 80s who is living in Boston but decides to move to West Berlin just a couple of years before the Berlin Wall falls. And this is about him going to West Berlin to feel accepted, to go into a community that he knows is full of people who are not exactly normal in a way that society views normal, because he is black, because he is gay, he wants to fit in somewhere, and he has read all the Christopher Isherwood novels and he hopes that West Berlin will be a safe haven for him. And in a way it is, but in another way he is thoroughly disappointed with how his life is turning out in West Berlin. And I have to say I enjoyed this novel mostly because of the atmospheric setting of West Berlin at the time, because it's a place and a time that you don't read that often about in fictional novels. And it was great to see this time and place get portrayed in this novel. So yeah, if you want to read about West Berlin in the 1980s, about how people living there are seeing themselves and how this was in a way a safe haven for people who felt different, and this is a book for you, I think. Then the second book that I read in August was quite a chunker, and that's The Casual Vacancy by J.K. Rowling. This is the Dutch version, which translates to A Good Advice, which in a way is also a good title, but I think that The Casual Vacancy is a better title. If you have read the novel, you'll know. I also think that I'm one of the last people to have read this novel, because, you know, it's J.K. Rowling, and everybody who has read the Harry Potter books, which I haven't really, has also read this book. And I've read a lot of commentary that this is not the J.K. Rowling people were expecting, because, you know, it's Harry Potter and they wanted something in a similar vein, I think. But I found this a really good read because it's about small town politics, which is something that everybody has dealt with in his life, I think. This starts with the death of a local councilman somewhere in rural England, I think, and it's about the repercussions and the consequences of his death, about his allies and the local council and his enemies and how everything is dealt with that. But it also deals with the advantages and disadvantages of being born somewhere and how that plays out in your life and how people fight against that, or people just accept the place and time that they were born in. So yeah, I found this a very interesting read and very different to the Harry Potter books, which again I haven't read all of them, sorry. Then the third book was A Year of Marvellous A Year of Marvellous Ways by Sarah Winman, which was such a heartwarming read, so quirky. This is about a woman who is called Marvellous Ways and is 89 years old and has lived in the same place, a very also local village somewhere in the Cotswolds, I think, or in Cornwall. Is that the same? I have no idea. And this is about how she, somewhere after the Second World War, I think in 1947, encounters a soldier who has returned from the Second World War and how everything seems to be interconnected, even if it's not really all that plausible, because, you know, it deals with magical realism, but in a way that was so, like I said, heartwarming and a bit quirky. And yeah, I don't know, I read this in one evening, and just, even though it was a hot summer's day, it even made me even warmer inside, which was very difficult to do, but, you know, it did it. And then finally, the fourth book that I read in August was Der But Forde by Ali Smith, which is a book that has been sitting on my shelves for almost 2 years now, I think, and I have heard so much about this on BookTube. I think everybody has a clear opinion on this, whether they like it or not so much, because this starts with an interesting premise. This is about a dinner and one of the guests, who wasn't really invited by the hosts themselves, but one of the guests brought him along. And somewhere during the evening, he just goes upstairs, and the host thinks that he's just going to the bathroom, but in fact he is actually locking himself in their guest's bedroom, and he doesn't want to come out anymore. And the days continue, the months go on end, and a year further he's still in that bedroom. And I found this such an interesting premise, and this started so well, so strong, but I don't know, somewhere along the way, I don't know, in the middle of the book, things started to grow a bit stale for me, because this is told through multiple perspectives, and the first two perspectives were very interesting, but then the third and the fourth were, I don't know, I think the last two perspectives were just from two persons that I really didn't care about. I have to say that there was a knock-knock joke at the end, which had me in stitches, which I found so hilarious that, I don't know, I just bumped this up 1 star to 4 stars, I think, because, I don't know, best knock-knock joke I've ever read. So, if you just want to read a very good, hilarious knock-knock joke, go for this book, which is the best recommendation I can give you. So yeah, those were the only 4 books that I read in August, which isn't all that much, but I guess you have good months and not so good months, and, you know, that's life. If you have read any of these books, please have a chat with me down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!